We have here something very good. We have here 4 veggie burgers, all ready to be cooked and enjoyed. But I see our veggie burgers. Now, I wouldn't have thought that I would like these veggie burgers as much as the real thing, huh? Not as much as the real hamburger. But you know, if you just keep an open mind to it, really, after a while, I was eating one of the veggie burgers there, and I had to ask him, is this a veggie burger or is this the regular? And same thing true. Sometimes at our house we'll have Father Neil likes them, the turkey meatballs. So we'd be having a big Italian dinner, you know, spaghetti and meatballs, and it's turkey burgers. So, you know, we do spend a lot of time trying to find the foods that will keep us healthy, right? You have to admit that. Tonight we have to ask ourselves, we want to ask ourselves another question. How much time and energy do we spend on seeking the food that will truly satisfy us? And that's the food that God alone can give us. How much time do we spend seeking God's food? Well, I was thinking about this, and I was walking through the neighborhood last week, and there was my friend Henry sitting in front of his house. And Henry always seems ready to share his thoughts about this real food that God alone offers. And he said, we have to keep an open mind. We have to be open and ready to receive what God offers us. God offers us the real food that only God can give. This is the food that lasts forever. He said, you know, the human body, is going to break down as we get older. And it's just the way life is. But God offers us the food that will satisfy us forever. Only God offers us this food. Now at the Brady Center, not far from here, there's a group of men and women who gather 3 mornings a week to get together and then go out for about an hour or so riding bicycles through the city. And then they come back and they have coffee and a little bit of food. And many of them are homeless. And if not exactly homeless, they might be staying here one night and someplace else the next night. They kind of go from place to place. Well, the purpose of the group is a lot more than just riding bicycles. Although riding a bicycle is very good. The purpose is to ask the question of them that all of us have to answer here tonight. What is your real hunger? What is your real hunger? And what is your real thirst? And what's going to satisfy that? What is that inner thirst that all of us have? And only God can fill that real hunger. Only God can satisfy that real thirst. Remember Jesus talking to the woman at the well. He said, God is always with us. Talking to the woman at the well. And he said, if you drink the water I give you, you will never thirst again. You will never thirst again. God offers us the true water, the true thirst. God is always there. God isn't here today and gone tomorrow. This is the food of everlasting life with God. Well, today we celebrate the feast of the body and blood of Christ. And we just remind ourselves that when we receive communion tonight, we receive the body and blood of Christ. We're truly receiving God's presence in us. God is truly present in us. And our gospel tonight tells us that Jesus giving us this real food, the Last Supper. And while they were eating, he took the bread, said the blessing, broke it, gave it to them and said, "Take and eat. This is my body." Then he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, and they all drank from it. This is the blood of the covenant, which shall be shed for many. This is the food that God offers us. Well, about a month ago, you may remember that we celebrated First Communion here at Cathedral. And it was a great day. Great day for the children, and also a great day for their teachers who had spent a whole year getting the kids ready for this. So I asked the director of the program, Sharon Secor, said, "Sharon, now what is the most important message you want those kids to remember? What do you want them to truly remember?" He said, well, two things. First of all, we want them to remember that when they receive communion, they don't just receive bread and wine. They're truly receiving Christ. And the second thing I want them to remember, I want them to remember that Christ in us doesn't stop when we go out the door of the church. When people see us acting the way Christ would, they see Christ in us. When they see us acting the way Christ would, they see Christ. This week, celebrated the funeral of a homeless man. He lived about 3 blocks from here, where Onondaga Creek runs through the city. And he lived between the railroad bed, the railroad bridge, and Onondaga Creek. And his body was found floating in the creek. Well, at his funeral, at least a dozen people got up, and they told of what his willingness was to help other people, how he was always willing to help anybody that asked him, no matter what it was. No matter what it was, he was ready to help. And one man told of how this man shared his little space there between the railroad and the creek with a newcomer who was also homeless. People saw Christ in him. And they were willing to overlook some of the difficulties he had and look and see Christ in him by the kindness that he showed to other people. And this is what we're all called to do, to let our light shine when people see us acting in the way Christ did. So as we continue on now and get ready to share in the body and blood of Christ tonight, let's ask God's help. Let's just simply ask God's help to let our light shine